approaching 0 in. Both the boards and round one in. Gonna find that kingpin flying around. Put my ball in the pocket and knock them all down. Gonna crank it up. Let's rock them up. Gonna crank it up. Let's swing them up. Get ready to bowl now. Strike out the day. Get ready to bowl. Strike out the day.
For our 22nd telecast of 1993, we're originating in the West Texas city of El Paso. El Paso, bordering not only Mexico and the Rio Grande River, but also New Mexico. Hello again. I'm Chris Schenkel here at Bowl El Paso. And like I'm sure my colleague Nelson Burton Jr., delightful to be back in a beautiful establishment like this called Bowl El Paso. And Bo, we have 5 finalists. There are not many titles, but there are 2 that have yet to win, so the battle should be supreme.
You're right, Chris. A great 5. If you like the big hitters, the powerful balls, we have that today. Now let's see how these players match up against each other. In game number 1, it's the 5th seed, powerful Bob Spaulding of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Will meet another non-champion, Gary Schluchter from Fremont, Ohio. And then the winner of that will meet the man who doesn't even use his thumb in a bowling ball, former national champion Mike Miller from Albuquerque. In the semifinal match, it's Bob Benoit. Bob on a roll from Topeka, Kansas. And our tournament leader, Robert Lawrence, former U.S. Open champion, will be our tournament leader, Chris. There's a lot of money at stake, some exciting matches, and the powerful ball will take the money today.
$130,000 is the total, with 22 the champion, 10-5 runner-up, 45 for the bowler, the professional that loses this very first game, which is about to start. El Paso, 600,000 population across the Rio Grande. Juarez, Mexico, with 1.5 million inhabitants. It's warm outside here at the west tip of Texas. And we get our first look now. Bob Spaulding. He's a right-hander, 31 years old. And perspiration flowing already for these 2 non-winners, Nelson.
Well, a little bit, as you said, Chris, it's a warm day outside. However, lack of experience is kind of the thing that overwrites both these guys. Gary's never been in a championship round, and his opponent Spaulding just in his 3rd.
Head leaving the 3-6-9-10. 6'2", 190 pounds, 5 years, member of the PBA. Gary Schluchter of Fremont, Ohio.
The style of Schluchter, 5-step delivery, just very powerful. You'll see this with almost all our players today, the cupped wrist and the tremendous power on the delivery. However, a little bit of inaccuracy on that shot as he has a tough spare.
Good job. Continuing to mark here in our first match. Remember, these are the numbers 5 and 4 seeds. And the winner of this game will go against Mike Miller, then Bob Benoit, and then our tournament leader from Austin, Texas, Robert Lawrence. Again, a little high, this time leaving the 4.
To set up the championship pair, 31 and 32 at this 40-lane establishment, Bowl El Paso, the key is going to be the right-hand lane. The left-hand lane swings back nice and smooth as you see this ball, and it's dependable. The players can depend on the ball hooking back. The right-hand lane has a hang spot, and it'll give us some trouble.
Very much off balance at the line, and just a bad shot, wasn't it, Bo?
You're right, Chris. Just rifles the ball at the spares, and the approaches have been one of the keys this week. A couple of days they've been tacky, a couple of days they've been slick. Today the players say they are ideal. However, Schluchter just way off target with an open in the 2nd.
Oh, yeah. Talk about a scout, Bo.
Well, a somewhat unflappable Spaulding gets a great break here. The head pin drives straight back. The 2-pin goes to sideboard and takes out the 6s and 10s. Not only does he avoid the split, but he's rewarded with a strike, making it a double and coming up on the good lane. What an advantage.
crossing over and leaving the 3-9.
Well, with all power players today, when they miss a bunch. It's like a free swinger in baseball, a Reggie Jackson type swing. If he misses the ball, he can miss a bunch. When they hit him, they knock them all down, and that was just another wild shot. He's left himself a difficult spare, the 3-9 double wood.
Beautifully covered, threw in the sleeper 9 as Gary Schluchter is back up. Average 235 on this championship pair. His high game this week was 279. He's had back-to-back 10th place finishes, his best on tour. So it's a lonely 2-pin.
As Chris said, the 279 is his high game, but the key is his low game. He had a 144 low game, and his opponent, Bob Spaulding, who had a high of 289, had a 137 low game for the week in a 48-game format. So these guys can do anything. They're high-risk, high-reward players. Right now, they're both struggling a little bit.
Again, but this time, better luck. Gary Schluchter. Look at it again. Oh.
Well, his striking ability has never been questioned. However, his spare-making technique and ability is somewhat in doubt. However, he gets a great break there as he topples the 3-pin. Just touch it, and it'll go over. Maybe he can loosen up after a good shot here and make this a match.
Hard to come by. Strikes for Gary Schluchter, who had a regional finish of 2nd in Port Clinton, Ohio. That's way up north. Fremont, Ohio. It's about an hour north of Columbus, Ohio.
Gary, who just improved throughout the tournament. The ball with almost no deflection. A reactive resin ball against 3-pound, 7-ounce pins is a solid 9.
As we mentioned, we're at the border town in West Texas, city called El Paso. Let's take a peek into Mexico. Juarez.
Look out, America. The Choiceosaurus sweepstakes is here. You could win $1 million or one of 7 $50,000 cash prizes. Pick up an entry form at any Quality, Comfort, Clarion, or Sleep Hotel, and you could be a winner, too.
We just won $50,000. Thanks, Comfort Inn.
The $1 million prize is still at large. Will Choiceosaurus bring it to you? Call 1-800-4CHOICE because offers like this happen once every 60 million years.
He doesn't like power breakfast. He'll take a pass on poetry. Deep down, he's a grown-up Boy Scout. Way grown. He likes feeling clean and cool and very male. And he knows how to get there. Where have you guys been? Brute. Men are back.
We're at Bowl El Paso, standing room only crowd, watching 5 fine bowlers battling for the championship in the El Paso Open, leading by 21 pins. You're looking at Bob Spaulding, working on a spare, 4th frame.
Spaulding with a powerful body. It's 6 feet, 225 pounds, takes a 5-step delivery, very steady. Once again, tremendous wrist action. He rolls that wrist right on through the swing, and right here, leaves the 4-pin.
El Paso, the home of the University of Texas at El Paso.
Spaulding, who is a excellent high school football player, played linebacker, bench press 325 pounds, he said, as he was leaving high school. Right now still has maintained a lot of that strength at age 31 and has a 20-pin lead here as we enter the 5th frame.
Leading a 3, 31-year-older who has a 4th place finish this year in Baltimore and last year a 5th place finish in Fresno.
Right through the middle, almost leaves the 310 baby split. The 6-pin pops out the 10. The 3-pin easy spare for Spaulding, maintain a 19-pin lead. Schluchter just needs something good to happen to him here. He's a very aggressive player. He's very confident, but he's had nothing good happen so far today.
There. Finally, Bob. And there is Don.
Well, he likes this. We said he needs something good to happen. The 2-pin goes to the sideboard, gets caught between the 3, 6, and 10, takes them all out, and luck is a residue of design, but that one was a hard one to design, and he has to make this a double. He'll be right back in the match.
And now, with that power strike, he trails by only 9. Spaulding is quickly up with a spare up. He is shooting in the 6th frame. Mike Miller continues to warm up. He will meet the winner. 2, 4, 5.
This lane's going to be the key to winning all day long. Lane 32, it's got what we call a hang spot on the lane where the oil or conditioner has been carried too far down the lane to accommodate the big break that these players want at the back end, and when they point it towards the pocket, it hooks high. So right now, they must make an adjustment on this lane to be competitive.
A 225-pounder, Bob Spaulding, gives us his views on what a quality player really is.
Well, you learn to play certain conditions. There's weeks when you can hook the ball a lot. There's weeks when you have to go a lot straighter. So it's hook control, and you have to learn the variation of releases to be competitive every week, and that's made a big difference for me this year.
All right, we're seeing all kinds of strikes. Bob Spaulding, and now with a double up. Next time he shoots, and if he can come up with a strike, he'll take a 4-pin lead. That'll come after a while. In El Paso, there are many craftsmen in the city, and chief among them are boot makers. Some of the skins that eventually go into the boots.
You're looking at tinea pedis, commonly known as athlete's foot. But what's not commonly known is many types of fungus cause it. And to cure it all, you've got to kill it all. But today, there's a full prescription-strength medicine, the one most recommended by doctors, Lotrimin AF. The broad-spectrum power of Lotrimin AF doesn't just get some athlete's foot fungus, it kills it all. Lotrimin AF, the cure that gets it all.
I hit the floor at 9 a.m. and I'm going non-stop till we close. That's why I fix the dent and forget it.
An all-night shift and 5 cups of coffee, no problem. Now I fix the dent and forget it.
Even in the hottest liquids, when other adhesives stop holding, Fix-A-Dent holds stronger and longer.
Why not?
Now that he switched to Fix-A-Dent, he can go from morning till night and still eat like that.
For the strongest, longest hold, Fix-A-Dent and forget it.
Basketball's court jesters show off their hottest stuff, plus the coolest contest on wheels. Squirt Summer Skate. The summer fun is on ABC's Wide World of Sports. Next.
As we look at Gary Schluchter of Fremont, Ohio, he has never had the lead, but he has a chance right here with a double up, shooting in the 7th frame to lead by 4. From Coral Springs, Florida, one of our bowling heroes, 2-time champion Bob Vespi, our interviewer. Bob?
Thanks, Chris. Mike, people deal with pressure situations in many ways. How do you deal with it?
Well, sometimes I freak out, and then sometimes I just deal with it the best way I can. So, hopefully today I'll deal with it the best way I can.
Sounds good, Mike.
And if Bob Vespi were asked that question, he'd say, I talk to the pins and to the crowd. You'll hear from Bob a little later on.
Well, this has been one of the most interesting matches so far this year because both the players are throwing the ball all over the lane with a lot of power. As we look through 8 frames, if Schluchter makes a spare, he'll have a 2-pin lead. However, Spaulding can regain that lead if he strikes in the 8th.
Oh, you were right when you set us up earlier saying we had some power players. The speed of his spare shot.
Well, there's something to say about that. You're right, Chris. They just use too much power and speed on the spares. It's not necessary. Spaulding, with a little more experience than anybody else, can take the lead with a strike.
Leaves the 4-7 instead.
Well, that's the closest anybody's really been on the right-hand lane, other than the strike Schluchter threw in the 7th frame. Right now, just 2 pins separate the players through 8 frames. Well, you talk about spare-making ability that's right out of a junior program book. These guys are throwing the ball everywhere. This is not even close. You need to shoot the left-hand spares from the right-hand part of the lane. Here, Bob Spaulding tries going down the left-hand part of the lane, hits a little oil, skids by, and completely whiffs the 4-7, and he's put himself in a precarious position. He went from just 2 pins in arrears to trailing by 16 in 9th frame.
Sliding by, leaving the 1-2 sleeper 8. And I'm sure back in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, Carol and Ashley are wondering what happened.
Well, your blood pressure goes up about 10 or 15 points when you whiff a 4-7 or any spare as far as he just did, and then the result ends up again carrying over into the next frame, and he's left himself another tough spare, the 1-2-8. Got to hit the left side of that head pin. Schluchter, as he comes up, a leader by 16 pins, needs 2 good marks to lock out Spaulding, but heavens knows these guys, they either strike or miss half the building, so let's just watch what happens. Isn't this fun, Chris?
This is different.
Okay.
That's a great part, though, of all these telecasts, Bo. You know, we've had 300 perfect games on all these telecasts, so we have a lot of other things happening.
Once again, the synthetic approaches, synthetic lane, Schluchter a little off balance, slipping. Now he leaves the 3-9-10 split. Misses that. The match is close as we enter the 10th frame. Schluchter leads by 2.
Oh, did you realize the altitude in El Paso is 3,762 feet?
Jeez. Actually, high altitude usually makes for good pin actions. You see this ball coming into you at the 3-9 baby split from behind the pin setter.
Love that shot.
Schluchter needs 2 strikes and 9 to lock out Spaulding. Well, the 3-pin. On normal occasion, Chris Senko, I would say piece of cake, easy spare. Let's see what Schluchter, it's an adventure for him.
Nearly broke the 2. Woo! 6'2", 190 pounds, 27 years old.
Key for Schluchter here is to get 9 or a strike. That would force Spaulding to double. If he gets 8 or less, we have a possibility of a tie match. A strange way to get 9, but he did it. And that makes Bob Spaulding need 2 strikes and 2 pins to win the match. Now, Spaulding has been in this situation both of his previous appearances on Pro Bowlers Tour on ABC, needing a double to win the game. He got the first strike both times and left a solid 10 both the second time. So he's never won a game. He needs 2 strikes to win this one.
Nope.
Not to be. Gary Schluchter takes a little bit different method, but he wins his first game in a championship round on ABC, but he'll have his hands full in the next match against former PBA national champion Mike Miller.
And, of course, Bob Spaulding out on tour for his second consecutive year. You'll be seeing and hearing more from him. As we indicated earlier, he had 4th and a 5th. Now he's going to pick up a 5th again. So it's 190 to 183. A victory for Schluchter, who made Mike Miller. ABC Sports presentation of the Professional Bowlers Tour will return after this message and a word from our ABC station.
Where once there was one ninja, now there are 3. The original ninja, the first AMF ball to harness the power and hook of reactiphane cover stock. The smooth arcing Ninja Master, a masterful balance of power and control. And the Ninja Fury, unrestrained in its extraordinary hook and incredible power. The new Ninja Fighting Force from AMF. The power to improve your individual style.
I love to grill. You gotta get those coals so they're white hot, so everything sizzles.
I love that sound. Then you know you're cooking. It's just a great sound.
But wait. You need the secret ingredient.
A1.
I never grill without using A1. Perfect. Bingo.
Done.
A1. It's how grilling is done.
Saturday on the commish, a runaway rapist takes Tony to the streets.
He's the safest victims are blind. Somehow we gotta prove him wrong.
The commish, Saturday.
He's just a kid who's a killer.
He's a very dangerous individual, and we need to get him off the streets as soon as possible.
On the next prime suspect, a teenager rips a bloody rampage. In a heartbeat, a friend became a murderer, and 6 children were left without a father.
He looked at me, he goes, Kim, Steve shot me, and I think I'm dying.
Authorities need your help on the next prime suspect.
Sunday at 9 on WHTM.
Bowling in the USA. Bowling in the USA.
For a great time this week, join your friends at one of these fun-filled bowling centers.
Join Brent Barton on 27 News tonight at 6 and 11. ABC Sports presentation of the Pro Bowlers Tour is brought to you by AMF Bowling. AMF, an official sponsor of the PBA Tour. By Prescription Strength Lotrimin AF, the cure that gets it all. And by A1 Steak Sauce. A1, it's how burgers are done.
The approaches at Bowl El Paso in this Texas city. First match is in as we look at Mike Miller, who will meet the winner of that first, Gary Schluchter.
Well, let's see if Schluchter can loosen up here. He was uptight. He got a great break as neither one of the players took advantage of the first game. Schluchter won almost by default. Let's see.
Leaving a 3-6-10 on the left lane, the man that had a 190 and 3 strikes, to Bob Spaulding's 183.
Schluchter kind of reminds me of our statistician Butch Soper when he first came on the tour. Kind of a wild stallion out there, just throwing and hoping.
All right. But Butch has won. Butch is a winner. Gary will be. Right now, standing in his way is Mike Miller, the 32-year-old professional with 2 championships from a city 270 miles from here, Albuquerque, New Mexico. PBA national champion. Won in Wichita and he won in Toledo.
Well, the thumbless delivery of Mike Miller, a 5 step delivery, a little shuttle first step, everything solid. Look at this position. Look at how he gets that wrist wrapped around the bowling ball, and he drives right on through the target. And by far the best shot we've seen from anybody in the championship round today.
Pesky 4. Bo, you won here in El Paso in 1970.
23 years ago. It was a little different situation then, Chris. We bowled on lacquer wood bowling lanes with rubber balls. Today we're bowling with synthetic lanes with reactive resin bowling balls.
Which is more difficult? The eras.
Well, I think there's just more good players today, Chris.
Okay.
I think you can take any era, the Carter Weber era, my era, where you had Earl Anthony, Roth, Holman. There were just more great players today.
Well, now we'll see about split conversions here.
Well, the 210, Schluchter said earlier, before we went on the air, he was worried about slipping one off into the moat, and he sends that one wide, almost dumps it in the ditch for 0. Gets away with a 210 split, hard and straight down the left side, needs to slide the 2 across into the 10.
Bowling's hottest shots will burn up the lanes in the Great Plains, as Gary just did with his speed. In 2 weeks, we'll be in Kansas for the Wichita Open. That's live at a special time, 1:30 Eastern, 3 Pacific, July 31st on ABC's Pro Bowlers Tour. And coming up next on ABC's Wide World of Sports, first, well, it's the Harlem Globetrotters. Here's Gary Shuck leading the 10-pin. The Harlem Globetrotters, a special encore performance. They visit South Central Los Angeles. Plus, all-star athletes roll into Squirt Summer Skate from Universal Studios, Florida. That's next on ABC. Wide World. Boy, I bet Gary could crank my old farm tractor.
Oh,
one with a crank out front, you know, Bo?
He's a powerful guy.
Gee.
6 feet 2 inches tall, 190 pounds. Mike Miller, almost the same stature, 6'1", 180. Has done a lot of weightlifting to help develop this thumbless delivery style.
Mike Miller's thumbless delivery brought him success in the past, but his recent slump has forced him to make some alterations.
Well, the biggest change I've made is I've added a pinky finger, which has allowed me a lot more stability. I had some trouble this year with overspinning the ball because I only had 2 fingers in it, and the mistakes that I made were caused because I didn't have enough stability. So that's allowed me to do that, and I figured out how to use a reactive resin bowling ball, so I'm looking forward to today.
Oh, boy.
I'll tell you, when you have this much power, you get unusual things. The 3-4 split, you could sit here, and I know all the 30-some years you've sat here, Chris, you've never seen it. I have never seen it.
I never have.
The ball just hooks so much that there's no deflection as it crosses through the pin, so he needs to get to the right of the 3-pin and slide it into the 4.
Well, one thing for sure, he doesn't get much practice on that one. We're in El Paso, where across the border is Juarez, Mexico, and where on any given afternoon you can find a bargain and music.
If you're looking into faucets, Peerless means plenty. America's leading do-it-yourself faucet. In hundreds of styles and finishes. All made with solid brass valve construction. And all warranty for as long as you own your home. The best made, best back do-it-yourself faucets in America. That's what Peerless means.
Now, Kellogg's Raisin Bran has even more of what you love best. Sweet, plump raisins. And 2 scoops with more raisins means great raisin taste. Kellogg's Raisin Bran. Now with even more raisins.
The secret to a strong finish is endurance, new high endurance. Just watch how a day's worth of our deodorant outlasts the leading stick even after 24 hours. For the longest lasting, the best deodorant stick, demand proof. Get new high endurance from Old Spice.
It's a showdown north of the border. Top IndyCar drivers try to catch points leader Nigel Mansell in the Molson Indy Toronto. Sunday on ABC Sports.
In about 1 month, Don and Gary Schluchter will become parents for the first time. Good luck.
Right now, Gary Schluchter trails by 1 pin, 4th frame. Well, he's made a good adjustment. If there's anything you have to learn on the PBA Tour is to make adjustments. There's tons of good players out here with a lot of talent. The difference among the top players and the ones that are also ran are the ability to make adjustments to lane conditions. Schluchter has made a good move.
Okay, we're in El Paso, and so is the man born in Albany, New York, Bob Vespi. Bob?
Bob, you struggled earlier this year. In the summer, you've really seemed to pour it on. Has the increase of ball speed from 3 to 4 miles per hour helped you out this summer?
Well, I didn't know I was throwing it that hard. No, I have worked real hard this year on trying to throw the ball harder when I have to, but I prefer to throw it a little softer if I can, and I'll just wait and see what happens today.
Good luck.
Thank you. All right, at 3-6-10, Bob Benoit with Bob Vespi, Coral Springs, Florida, twice champion.
Normal ball speed that is effective winning PBA tournaments. I used to track it. Chris was 18.1 miles an hour. Benoit around 16. Schluchter right now up around 21. So you have to stabilize that ball speed to be consistent for accuracy and power.
Gary, taught by his father George, who used to bowl 7 days a week, now once a week. And here's Mike Miller from a bowling family indeed. Mackey, multi-titleist on the ladies tour.
His dad, Gub Miller, who is a quality senior player on the seniors tour. And right now, Mike, with a 5-pin lead, is up on the lane he should hit. Everybody's been spanking this lane. Miller, if he can get striking on this lane, could open it wide open.
The number 3 seed, winning the winner of the first game, Mike Miller.
Mike, you see how steady he is with that head at target. Now he looks up at the pins, hand underneath the bowling ball. You just can't put any more down there than that one.
Another 3-6-10.
Well, Gary's made an attempt to cut down the hook on this right-hand lane, move farther outside. He had some success in the 4th frame where he left a solid 10, but once again, he drifts high, and he is without a strike through 6 frames in his second match.
Gary Schluchter started the tour at age 27 for a very mature reason.
Well, unfortunately, I wasn't wealthy enough to be out here week in and week out with all these great players that are out here. I came out on my own money and bowled well. I got a sponsor while I was out, and due to that, that's why I'm here today. Without that help, I wouldn't be anywhere. I'd still be home.
Well, we're glad he's getting to realize a dream, Nelson.
You're right. Sponsor Terry Ash ought to be quite proud of his investment in this young man who will only improve. Yet he's still in this match. Despite not striking through 7 frames, he only trails by 19.
So as 19 pins separate these two professionals in our second match of the El Paso Open, we'll take a break.
Everybody hates to eat and run, rather take it slow. But the way this life is going, gotta grab your food and go. And when all that running round, catches up with you at last. Get yourself some Alka-Seltzer and you'll feel better fast.
For acid indigestion or heartburn with headache, nothing's faster or more effective than Alka-Seltzer.
Get yourself some Alka-Seltzer and you'll feel better fast.
I used pressure-treated lumber, and I still have $800 in water damage. How come?
Even treated wood needs Thompson's Water Seal waterproofer. Without Thompson's, you're wide open for water damage. Thompson's. Don't wait until it's too late.
Do you have a problem with food sticking to your barbecue? Just spray All Natural Pam on a cold grill, and your problem will go away. Pam makes summer less sticky.
Richard Chamberlain, Rachel Ward, the turbulent saga of forbidden love and untamed passion. Relive The Thornbird, Sunday on ABC.
This Texan, he's the leader from Austin. Robert Lawrence staying loose. He's going to eventually meet the winner of the semifinal game between the winner of game we're watching and Bob Benoit.
Miller, the only player to have any success on this right-hand lane so far today, has a chance to take a commanding lead here in the 7th with one additional strike and make it 29 pins. So many young players have emulated Mike Miller's style since he made it fashionable 3 years ago with his win at the PBA National Championship. The only thing Mike warns is to build up your wrist, lift some weights, because there's a lot of pressure on your wrist and your right knee with this style. He's perfected it. Nobody else on the tour has really been successful without using their thumb.
Oh, baby!
All right.
Get your son.
Michael is whipping. There they are. Christopher Miller, Mike's son, and of course his mom, Jody Ann, and Pops.
Gary Schluchter, who's in real trouble this match, trailing by 40 pins with just 2 frames to go, will look back, win or lose in this match, and say, hey, I need to learn one more shot to be successful on the tour, and that's straighten the ball a little bit out on the first delivery.
Okay, tomorrow on ABC Sports, third-round co-leaders, Bernard Longer, Nick Faldo, and golf's greatest players tee off in the final round of the British Open. Live coverage begins at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 6:30 a.m. Pacific. And across the Atlantic then, IndyCar's greatest drivers will be in Canada. They'll be competing for the Molson Indy Toronto Championship. Coverage there begins at 4 Eastern, 3 Central and Pacific. All that tomorrow on ABC Sports. What a double header. Double whammy.
The irony of this match, one of the great strike balls on Professional Bowlers Tour, is without a strike for 9 frames. Gary Schluchter. Mike Miller in the driver's seat, using that thumbless delivery, adding 1 additional hole. He's got his little pinky finger in that ball right now, so he has 3 fingers, the index finger out there for balance, the thumb to the side, with a 41-pin lead, 9th frame.
Finishing strong. Bob Benoit continues to warm up. He'll meet the winner.
There's certain players in every sport that their peers like to watch them play, just stick around and watch them. And when Mike Miller's on a roll, he has the other players stick around and watch. Instead of taking a break, going back to the hotel and resting, sometimes they'll watch him because he's fun, and right now he's got it going. Well, the 3-4 we thought was unusual. He gives us a treat. He says, this is not unusual. I'll leave it one more time for you. The 3-4-7. The way to attack this is get to the right of the 3 pin, slide it over into the 4-7 zone. However, he can take any chance he wants because he has secured this match. It's just by how much.
Oh, soft shoe. A lot of accuracy.
Chris, you hit upon a good point there. My daddy always said that a game played with a round ball is 95% accuracy, and that is very true. These players have a lot of power, but Miller's proving right now that the man with the most accuracy wins the most bucks.
.221 for Mike Miller, the winner, who will go against Bob Benoit. This week's Choice Hotels International Tip of the Week features the all-important advice on accuracy in spare making.
ABC Sports presents a winning, never-gets-old bowling tip brought to you by Quality, Comfort, Clarion, and Sleep Hotels. Here's bowling great Dick Weber.
On last week's tip, Glenn Allison showed us that spare making is the most important part of the game. This week, John Ursena, 1990 Senior Tour Player of the Year, illustrates an effective way to execute spares.
Well, Dick, the method I use, which may help many senior bowlers, is to straighten out my ball when shooting the spares. If you throw a hook attempting to make the 10-pin, you run the risk of the ball dropping in the channel. By throwing a straight ball, you maximize your odds of making the spare. I reduce my hook by using a lighter ball with a harder surface to shoot my spares. It lets me throw the ball faster and straighter to cover my spares.
Good suggestion, John. Dropping a pound in weight to straighten the ball out will give you more accuracy in shooting your spares. Remember, winning never gets old.
Look for future ABC Sports winning, never-gets-old bowling tips brought to you by Quality, Comfort, Clarion, and Sleep Hotels.
There are gut balls and gutter balls, and sometimes the trophy falls. But no matter what, you'll love the bowlers who have it all. On ABC Sports Home Video, Bowling the Perfect Game. Call 1-800-4-ABC-VCR to order bowling's colorful history. Narrated by Chris Schenkel and Nelson Burton Jr. Charge it on your Visa card for only $14.98 plus $3.95 shipping. That's 1-800-4-ABC-VCR.
You know, I'm always teaching bowlers how to put fingers into the shot, not just the ball. But you can also use your fingers to save money. If you're 50 or over, just call 1-800-4-CHOICE, and you can save 30% at choice hotels like Quality, Comfort, Clarion, and Sleep. 30%. Now that's what I call aiming for the pocket.
Travelers 50 and over save 30% at Quality, Comfort, Clarion, and Sleep Hotels.
The secret to a strong finish is endurance. Introducing High Endurance, new from Old Spice. A breakthrough deodorant that doesn't wear out like the other guys. Here's proof. This is a day's worth of our deodorant. See how it outlasts the leading stick even after 24 hours? Now that's endurance. For the longest lasting, hardest working, the best deodorant stick, demand proof. Get new High Endurance from Old Spice. You won't go far without it.
When you're thirsty, you need a diet squirt. Because there's nothing like our refreshing blend of citrus flavors. Give your thirst a diet squirt.
Now, Kellogg's Raisin Bran has even more of what you love best. Sweet, plump raisins. And 2 scoops with more raisins means great raisin taste. Kellogg's Raisin Bran. Now with even more raisins.
In match 1 of the El Paso Open here in this Texas city, Mr. Schluchter defeated Mr. Spaulding 190 to 183. Gary then moved on against Mike Miller. And Miller came up with 7 strikes, a big score of 221 to 176. And now it'll be Bob Benoit in the semifinal game against Mike Miller. Good field here, Bo.
144, Chris. Average game 198. This has been the lowest scoring tournament of the year. However, we have an exciting field left. We have 2 games left, and here's some of the other finishers. Ozios, $4,000. Derek Williams, who made the championship round here last year. The Rock, Parker Bone, the defending champion. John Force, steady as usual. Ricky Ward made a big charge in the last 8 games. Del Valle Jr., U.S. Open champion. Eric Forkel, former national champion. Butch Sofer, 13 cashes in the last 14 weeks. Pete Weber. Jason Couch, Rookie of the Year. Phil Ringener, who held up the trophy number 24 spot. And Chris, 2 weeks from now, the man who will be in the semifinal game, Mike Miller, will defend his Wichita Open Championship, and then we go on to the big one of the summer tour, the Choice Hotels Classic, for $250,000. That'll be a good one.
Special time on Wichita, 1:30 Eastern, 3 Pacific. Speaking of charging, 5 championships this year, #1 in every category. The Californian Walter Ray Williams Jr. He's here.
Deadeye, you made $1,000 this week, a pretty solid week as all power players. You know, a question I want to ask you, nobody has really won as many championships as you have in more than a decade. The Roth, the Holman, the Anthony decade of 10 years ago. Do you feel this domination you have is good for the sport?
Well, I think it's good for any player, and it's really good for me. So I've been having a great year, and I hope it continues.
I feel that a lot of the other players and the tour gains by the notoriety you're creating in the sport today.
Well, I hope I'm able to bowl well and make something for bowling, and players will be proud of me, I hope.
Well, we are. You're a great player, Deadeye, and semifinal game coming up.
Walter Ray Williams Jr. We're going to keep him here and do some commentary. By the way, Walter Ray finished 29th. He added $1,060. He is over $209,000 now. Got to be on his way to another Player of the Year championship.
And a possible record $300,000 winning. And he says Mike Miller is going to be the man to beat if he can hit this lane.
So we have a 2-4 for the winner of that last game with a 221.
Deadeye, I'll address this to you. You're probably the most versatile player we have on a tour today. If you're playing the big hook ball like all these players are, and you're having the ball go highlight, what adjustment do you recommend?
Well, it's really tough when you're used to throwing a big hook ball. The best thing probably to do is to cut it down, but when you're used to throwing a big hook ball, it's really tough to straighten it out and try something different. So most of these guys will probably stick with their big hook balls, even though like Bob Benoit and Mike Miller used to throw the ball very straight, but I'll bet they stick with their hook ball.
All right, Benoit.
And Bob Benoit, who has 2 4th-place finishes this year, can smile about it. Lorenda, well, it's not a big smile, but...
I hope that solid 8 doesn't resurrect negative thoughts. Remember how Benoit lost in Fresno on a solid 7, and I felt like he could have gone on maybe to win the whole tournament.
Bob's got to feel good, though, hitting the pocket as well. He did the first shot, so he knows he can hit that right lane.
Well, Deadeye, don't you feel that he's a little bit more towards the center of the lane than the other players? They're swinging out really wide, taking a big break. Benoit's playing more down the center.
Well, he's deeper inside to start with, but he's actually got a little more hook than Mike does, but his ball isn't getting far to the right as Miller's probably.
Beautiful shot by Bob Benoit, born in Hutchinson, Kansas, now bowling out of Topeka. And, of course, 2 weeks from today, we'll be in Wichita. You bowling there, Walter?
In Wichita? No, I'm going to have to miss that one. I'm going to be playing horseshoes. In fact, right as soon as I'm done with this telecast, I'm on my way up to South Dakota. I got 1,000 miles to drive to get up there.
Is that for the championship?
Yeah, the World Tournament. It starts on Monday, and it goes for 13 days.
Now we see a 9.
Well, the game has changed quite a bit, not only in style but in pin action, as the 3-pound, 7-ounce pins we're using here at Bowl El Paso show no respect for the 16-pound spheroid of Mike Miller, leaving the solid 9 easy spare. He uses a stump for a spare shot.
Walter Ray, I got to, since you're on horseshoes, a favorite sport of mine, and what you had earned as a bowler. Now, if you were to win your 6th World Championship coming up, how much would you win?
$3,500.
Oh, okay.
It's a fair amount, but it's not going to pay a lot of bills.
13 days.
Yeah.
Okay.
They look pretty sharp out there.
Semi-final game. It's very competitive and interesting.
Benoit up, 3rd frame, leads by 1, has nailed the pocket the first 2 shots. Solid 8 and a strike.
Tugged that just a hair. Not a lot of hold out there.
No.
It didn't hold for me this week, I tell you.
All right, Benoit with that soft speed, 5-step delivery, cups the wrist as all 5 of these players here in the championship round do today. He's very steady. Look at the straight arm swing, though, as he comes right in next to that slide foot. That's the key, goes right to target. But you see that hand over the top, the thumb pointing down, there was the paw.
Robert Lawrence of Austin, Texas, the tournament leader, is staying loose off to our right.
Fellow Midwesterner Chris Schenkel, big thunderstorm overhead in this bowling lanes right now. Looked out the door, there's kind of dark and something we're kind of familiar with, but...
your St. Louis hometown area, Bo, I feel for all residents all up and down that river, those rivers.
You bet. I'm paddling home later on today.
Okay, we're in El Paso, Texas. Lots of radio and TV stations here, but you know, New York City's hottest DJ, Don Imus, has a brother, Fred, in El Paso, who knows how to keep himself and his dog named Fred cool. Don, there you get a look at your brother.
I love to grill. You gotta get those coals so they're white hot, so everything sizzles.
I love that sound.
Then you know you're cooking.
It's just a great sound.
Well, wait. You need the secret ingredient. A1. I never grill without using A1. Perfect. Bingo. Done. A1. It's how grilling is done.
He doesn't like power breakfast. He'll take a pass on poetry. Deep down, he's a grown-up Boy Scout. Way grown. He likes feeling clean and cool and very male. And he knows how to get there. Where have you guys been? Brute. Men are back.
Basketball's court jesters show off their hottest stuff, plus the coolest contest on wheels. Squirt Summer Skate. The summer fun is on ABC's Wide World of Sports. Next.
We're back at Bowl El Paso. Adobe-style exterior, Southwestern-style interior. Wonderful 40-lane house. I'd like to have one back in northern Indiana, just like this, Bo.
Not so bad. Mike Miller, up 4th frame, can take the lead if he strikes. Trails by 1.
Pinch to the hair.
Oh, also, Deadeye, we can see a variance in their ball speeds. It's easy to see from the announce booth when they soften up a shot and the big hooks they're throwing really wander off line when they get off speed.
Yeah, the lanes are pretty critical out there. If you don't throw it just right, it's not going to get to the pocket.
That's what these guys are paid the big bucks for, to not make too many mistakes.
That's the idea, but they were definitely critical this week.
Tough spare, the 3-6-9.
Just like today, our colleague, professional bowler Bob Benoit, he finished 44th, Wayne Webb 43rd, Dave DeEntremont 42nd. And speaking of Bob Benoit, here he is.
Well, Robert, your nickname out here is Captain C for crossing over. Is that part of your strategy for today?
Well, if that's what it takes today to win, I plan on going Brooklyn. But if it comes down to the 10th and I leave something and I got a spare to win, I'll call you in and let you shoot it for me.
Well, I'm sure I'll do good.
Nothing like having confidence, Robert, both of you.
Well, among the two wildest spare shooters. Yeah. Now, Bob Benoit's speed is so critical to him, probably more than any other player on the tour. He throws the big hook, he plays to the extreme left part of the lane, and he's about 16 miles an hour. If he gets it up around 17, hits that lane solid, he'll be very tough.
Look at that. Got that out a little bit more than his last time in that lane. It came right back. Just what he wanted to do.
Well, Deadeye, something that you see from the monitors in front of you here, and it's very visible. You do it under pressure, you may not even know it, as he reached farther out over the line. As he gets up to the line, a lot of players want to short arm it or short finger the shot. Benoit, with a good stretch, got the ball way down the lane, has put himself in a position to take a 21-pin lead.
Three in a row for Bob Benoit, who Loves to build street rods like a 34 Ford and does it well like he bowls.
Just what we're talking about. Solid at the line, on balance, down to one knee. Nails a 21-pin lead. Don't count out Mike Miller. Lorinda, Benoit's wife, looking on. Mike Miller, 6th frame.
I think he made an adjustment on that shot he made in the 4th frame and just made too much of one.
Well, that's the death of any bowler, Deadeye, as you well know. You adjust for a bad shot and make a worse adjustment, and you're really lost.
Tonight, Stacy Keach stars in a new drama special, New Year. Then the commish is on the trail of a serial rapist. And tomorrow night, one of the biggest events in television history returns, Richard Chamberlain and Rachel Ward star in The Thornbirds, an ABC classic miniseries.
The man with the great arm swing, the powerful ball, no thumb in it, straight underneath it. I think Deadeye, he was expecting a little better ball reaction on that one.
Yeah, he's definitely looking for something better than what he got. I think the pressure got to him a little bit. You know, he had a nice, comfortable reaction last game, but the pressure wasn't there from his opponent, and Bob was throwing some strikes at him, and just that touch more.
And, of course, an error. Tiwa, Indian tradition here in El Paso, is preserved in the El Paso area the old-fashioned way. Elders teaching the youngsters their heritage and their culture. Since 1631, the Tiwas have been here in the El Paso area. Coming here from New Mexico.
At the first tickly itch of athlete's foot, get the next. Killing those grungy fungi before they get cracking and burning. Go get that can now, or else don't blame Desonex.
If you want to save money on home repairs, listen up. Thompson's Wood Protector Preservative has more of everything wood needs to protect it, from water, sun, and mildew damage. Consider yourself told. Thompson's Wood Protector Preservative. It's #1 for wood.
When you add baking soda to the cavity-fighting formula of Crest, the dentist's choice, you get something you may not be getting from other baking soda toothpastes. Cavity protection accepted by the American Dental Association. New Crest with baking soda.
Now, Kellogg's Raisin Bran has even more of what you love best. Sweet, plump raisins. And 2 scoops with more raisins means great raisin taste. Kellogg's Raisin Bran. Now with even more raisins.
Our sizzling summer of strikes continues. Bowling's Kingpins convene in Kansas for a Wichita Open when ABC's Pro Bowlers Tour returns in 2 weeks.
The trio. Co-proprietors Roy Lown, Frank Hatfield, Phil Prieto. Walter Ray Williams Jr. sitting in commentary with us this week, having won last week and 4 other times this year. 29th in the El Paso Open. Great to have you here.
Thank you.
Walter Ray, you know that Roy Lown won the first televised PBA tournament, the Paramus Invitational, 1962, $15,000.
At Frank Esposito's famous bowling establishment.
Runner-up in that tournament, Walter Ray. How's your PBA history?
It's not that good.
Oh,
I wasn't watching TV back then.
Only
good born.
Thanks, you got even with me pretty quickly there. It was Jim Robinette. All right, now Benoit for the 1-2-4. Surprisingly, a wild shot after 3 consecutive strikes. He leads by 30 pitches.
Bob Benoit has had a long trip back to success. Believe me. Here's why.
Well, I think the biggest thing in those 10 weeks was I didn't have any confidence in myself. I didn't have any confidence in my game, and it just really wore on me. And then I talked to several people. They built some confidence back up in me, and I did a lot of practicing. And with the practice and the confidence, it turned everything around for me. And it can happen to me, and it can happen to anybody.
Bob Benoit, you can see the somewhat pressure, as Chris Schenkel said, going on to the championship round. It's warm outside, it's warm in this building, and the pressure magnifies all that. He's had 2 balls in a row slip off his hand, leaving the 1, 2, 4 spares. If he converts this in the 8th, he'll lead, however, by 28 pins over powerful Mike Miller. Well, you can't miss spares, Deadeye, and especially against a guy like Miller.
No, Mike's got this lane figured out if he can just hit it again, and I'm sure if he does, he'll come right on that left lane and smack it. So Mike got thrown right back in the match.
You're right, as you see the chop of Benoit with a straight shot down the middle. Got to take advantage at this point in the match to be a winner on the Pro Bowlers Tour.
That's unbelievable. The ball's hooking so much in the back end.
Right on.
4-6. That's unbelievable.
Well, in your game, you have more forms of equalizers. Golly sakes alive.
Here's what Walter Ray said. Apparent good hit. The ball almost in a 1-3 pocket, cuts through, leaves a 4-6-9. Even Mike Miller a little bit disappointed at the pin reaction he has gotten. However, he was very optimistic going into this championship round and the next couple of weeks. Wichita, he likes the synthetic lanes. He's the defending champion there on ABC in 2 weeks. However, he has gotten himself almost out of this match. He needs to throw some strikes.
Like you said, Walter, on the left lane.
That was almost a high flush 10 pin. That's something you don't ever see. The ball's coming at such an angle. There are some detriments to throwing the big hook, but there are a lot of advantages.
Well, reflecting on what you said, as you see a shot by Mike Miller, Benoit taking a little extra time. Reflecting on it, Walter, do you think the balls are getting too powerful or the pins too light for today's pros?
It's hard to say. It's if the pins were too, or if the balls were too powerful, they wouldn't be throwing as much strikes. So they're really getting what they can out of it. You know, if it was better to throw the ball straighter, they would be.
Pressure shot by Bob Benoit. You know, a 28-pin lead.
All right, Kate. Walter Ray, you've won your last 3 PBA titles by throwing strikes in the 10th frame. Bob Benoit just needs a spare here to secure this match. What kind of a game plan do you take?
Well, for me, I'm really good at throwing the ball hard. When I got up in 10th frame last week, I threw the ball a little slow in the 6th and the 8th, and I said I can't do that again. For Bob, though, he can't do that. He has to throw it nice and slow and just stroke it.
And he needs this spare to win the match or to lock it up. He'll open the door for Mike Miller if he happens to whiff the 3-6-10. Taking a little extra time. Good technique for this player. He kills the ball flat with his wrist across lane. I don't expect him to even give away the 3-pin. He's going to be tough.
All right.
Looks at the scoreboard. He just needs 3 pins. I'd be surprised to see if he even throws a hook ball. He may just rope it right down the middle. And it looks like he's setting himself up for the strike shot.
Yeah, he's far enough inside. He's not really worried about throwing the ball in the channel.
Okay, good point, did I?
.203 and a winner in Bob Benoit. ABC Sports presentation of the Professional Bowlers Tour will return after this message and a word from our ABC station.
The elementary school curriculum needs to stress problem solving as well as self-discipline.
There's nothing like the authentic frosty mug taste of Diet A&W root beer. One taste and it will really bring back memories.
Habits of self-discipline.
He did it. Diet A&W with 100% NutraSweet. Our frosty mug taste brings you back.
Mixed nuts never give you enough of your favorite nuts, but new Fisher favorites are all favorites.
Pecans, almonds, peanuts, lightly coated with luscious flavors. Toffee, honey glaze, praline, plus large whole cashews. So
That's my favorite. No, that's my favorite.
every nut is your favorite. New Fisher favorite.
Monday on day one, trees worth millions are disappearing from your national forests, and the Forest Service is looking the other way.
This is where the trees were.
Day one investigates Monday.
As you know, I'm not only the heckler president, I'm also a client. If your hair is thinning like mine was, call now for your free video.
The first thing my wife said when she saw it, that I looked 10 years younger. That was the first words out of her mouth. Not hello, not hi.
I feel good about myself when I get up in the morning. It's easy to maintain and manage.
In our free video, you'll see our clients up close and natural. Their new hair responding under any condition just like their own. Hair Club for Men has improved not only their looks, but also their lives.
If you're pressed for time, you're 15 minutes late, you got to catch up. Jump out of the shower, towel dry the hair, fix it with your fingers, you know, and get going. It feels like it's been there all the time. That's how natural it feels. Even at the touch. You know, when I wash it in the shower, I don't feel anything. Just hair. Lovely hair.
So call now for your free video on Hair Club's developments in dealing with thinning hair. To help our clients, see how this free video can help you too.
Rob Dixon has the forecast tonight on 27 News.
Three games, three different winners. In the first, Gary Schluchter, 190 to Spaulding's 183. Then Mike Miller moves in, eliminates Schluchter, 221 to 176, and then Bob Benoit, the Kansan, with 6 strikes, 203 to Mike Miller's 184. That leads us into the championship match between the Texans and the man from Kansas, Robert Lawrence and Bob Benoit. Bo Burton and I are in El Paso, Texas, 5th consecutive year that we've come here.
Well, Chris, we have the championship match coming up, but before that, I'd like to let the people see an award that you received before we went on the air today. Joe Tiwa, a prominent citizen of this area and a member of the, Joe Sierra, a member of the Tiwa Indian tribe, presented this award to you, Chris, and as you see Joe Sierra right there, for outstanding work with the Native Indians and the Native Americans around the country. You should be proud of your work as we are.
I'm proud of them. All tribes.
All right, the championship, Chris, we're setting up. We have two of the very good friends right out there. Robert Lawrence, our tournament leader, Bob Benoit, who just bowled so well other than a couple of shots in the middle of that game. It's really anybody's match. Lawrence has lost his last 2 attempts at leading a tournament and defending that title. However, Benoit is ready to win.
Yes, he is. And it's the second appearance for Robert Lawrence this year in our telecast, his 11th overall. It's the 3rd for Bob Benoit, his 23rd overall. 3 championships for Benoit and 3 for Lawrence. So they'll break their PBA title. Leaving a 10-pin. Robert Lawrence's 3 titles, 2 PBAs and a U.S. Open.
Benoit, you don't see him leave many solid 10s. He has a style much like the late, great Ned Day, one of the greatest bowlers of all time. He uses the big hook ball, plays the center of the lane, and with that medium speed, he's more effective against heavier pins. As you see, the extreme left he takes on the approach to go across lane at the 10-pin.
Bob Benoit, who got into the finals with a 203 to 184 victory over Mike Miller. This year, Bob has 2 fourth-place finishes, Fresno and Portland. Robert Lawrence's last win was the United States Open in Canandaigua, New York. In '92, he was 4th at Sayville this year, losing to Walter Ray Williams 299 to 245.
Well, Robert Lawrence from behind. Good high backswing. He's going to go straight through the pins, driving the shot, leaves a solid 10. Converts it. But Chris, you know what I like about that shot? 2 things. One, we've seen all the players with the big hook ball struggle. Lawrence, who also throws the big hook ball, has observed through 3 games of watching his would-be opponents, and has made an adjustment on the lanes down and in, and I'll tell you what, he could be very tough if he can keep it on that line.
$20,000 to the winner of this head-to-head match. First strike of the game coming in the second frame for Robert Lawrence.
Now, Benoit, another player similar to Mike Miller, had no success on the tour in the 70s with a down-and-in normal type shot, has learned this cupped wrist shot. He developed it by learning to use a lighter ball and developing back up to a 16-pounder. And the reason you need the big hook today is that when we change from lacquer lane finishes and pretty much wood lanes back in the 50s and 60s, you needed more hook to take advantage of that wide braking area and no track. So these players have made the adjustment over the past 2 decades and are 2 of our finest players.
Just did stay on. That's right, Bob. Close call.
Just putting an addendum to all the big hook stuff, the reason you need a hook ball is the ball only weighs 16 pounds. The pins weigh 35 pounds or more. And if you don't have hook or angle of attack, you don't have enough power to carry through to the back row because the ball loses about 90% of its power traveling through the pins.
There's that slow, easy, tempoed shot in the pocket and a beautiful strike. Strike up now. Robert Lawrence, shooting in the 3rd frame, can take an 11-pin lead right here. Oh, 210.
Well, Lawrence thought would nail down this right-hand lane, but once again, he has problem like some of the other players. He goes a little bit light, ball sliding by, and he's got to take a shot at it.
What a rebound. Whew.
Chris, it's part of the rules. We have a plastic shield back there for our camera. I'll tell you, that pin hit off that shield, and that shield's 29 inches from the kickback, all within American Bowling Congress regulations, and Lawrence was just the benefactor on that shot.
On the left lane, leaving the 10. Just joined us. This is our championship match. You're looking at the tournament leader, Robert Lawrence. He's bowling Bob Benoit, who won the semifinal match to get into this battle. Big, even battle here for the championship. Today's championship trophy overlooks El Paso from Murchison Park.
Look out, America. The Choiceosaurus Sweepstakes is here. You could win $1 million or one of 7 $50,000 cash prizes. Pick up an entry form at any Quality, Comfort, Clarion, or Sleep Hotel, and you could be a winner, too.
I just won $50,000. Thanks, Quality Inn.
The $1 million prize is still at large. Will Choiceosaurus bring it to you? Call 1-800-4CHOICE because offers like this happen once every 60 million years.
I really didn't want my husband to color his gray hair.
But then I discovered this, the hair coloring called Just for Men.
And now he looks better than ever.
Simply apply Just for Men, and in 5 minutes, rinse. Just for Men blends away the gray for a totally natural look. No wonder 8 out of 10 women prefer the Just for Men look to the gray look.
It's like you took off 10 years.
And in just 5 minutes.
Just for Men. She'll love the way you look.
We're back again at Bowl El Paso in the Texas City. We've advanced to the championship match. It's even. Bob Benoit with a strike up can take a 10-pin lead. He's on the right lane. He's bowling Robert Lawrence. A 2-5.
Bob Benoit in his 2 games has had trouble after the little delay. As you see how he got to the top position or second place position, you see the ball sliding by. That's that camera angle, and you see that plastic shield back there that the camera is shooting through. I think that was what helped Robert Lawrence make the 210. So it gives a good shot. And a little help.
All right.
I think Benoit, for a power player, a big hook ball player, is on balance more than any player on the PBA Tour. All the years that I bowled with him as a doubles partner and observed him out on the tour, I've never seen him off balance, and these approaches are a little slippery.
We all need rooters. Bob has his grandfather, Ken Roberts, his father-in-law, Richard Manlove, and, of course, his sponsor, Richard Altman. Great incentive.
And this man's wife, Sherry, rooting for him back in Austin, Texas, in the Lawrence Complex, 29-acre home estate.
And one of 7 children, Robert. 310.
Robert feels his spare making got him to the #1 position this week, and he's going to have to prove it right here. He can't afford to be having open frames. The 310 baby split.
Tournament leader Robert Lawrence has had little success at Bowl El Paso until this week, that is.
Well, I've bowled regionals here for 4 or 5 years, and I think the best I ever finished was about 24th. I bowled a couple of tour stops and got 1 check and just never had a lot of success, so I didn't come in this week expecting too much. My spare game's been good lately, and that was important this week because the lanes were tougher, and the spare game came to effect, and so everyone came back down to my level.
He had a couple of things just happen on that shot. One, Bob's concentration was slightly broken by something happening back in the audience. However, he got one of his patented strikes, the crossover. Let's see if it affects Bob Benoit, who looks awfully determined. Look at that look in his eyes.
Leads by 12 now and quickly moves over to the left lane.
Look at the look in his eyes. That's determination. When you see him go down to 1 knee, baby, you know it's good. The scoreboard tells the story. Benoit leads by 12, but as we've seen so far today, anything can happen.
Bob Benoit's interests are building street things like 1934 Ford street hot rods. Here's a man that collects everything Roger Clemens, who pitched at Bob's favorite university, University of Texas, Boston Red Sox. He has over 100 cards on Clemens. Perfect pitch by the fan. Robert Lawrence doubles.
I'll give Robert Lawrence credit, not only being one of the best players out here. He's a $100,000 a year player out here, but he made a $100,000 player shot that last time. He has struggled on this right-hand lane. He went up there and just with a good follow-through, a lot of confidence, waited for the ball, stayed in balance, put down a great shot, and he's put himself in position right now where he can cut Benoit's lead to just 2 pins, 8th frame. Disappointed there. He could have really put some pressure on Benoit. Got a little soft. Start aiming the ball. Once again, leaves the 310 baby split. He converted the 210 1 frame, and all he has to do is make the 310 just like that. Ball deflecting off the 3 into the 10. Yep. Well, he converted the 210 in the 3rd, the baby split in the 5th. However, his undoing right now has been the baby split in the 8th. Just a little too much of the 3-pin. This is where you win titles. Bob Benoit hasn't been in this position in a couple of years to really nail one down. He's in that position now. He can't back off.
Bob has strung 4. Difference of winning, you got 20,000. You come out on top, and 10-5 for runner-up.
The 2-pin going to the sideboard, tripping out the 4 and 7. Something good has happened to Bob Benoit in a championship round match. He got a bad break in Fresno earlier in the year when he looked like he was going on to victory. Now he's on the threshold of re-qualifying for the General Tire Tournament of Champions.
Remember, here's the man who, in winning the Quaker State in Grand Prairie against Mark Roth, bowled a perfect 300 game to Mark's 255. Then winning in Sunrise, doubles with Del Ballard in Beaumont.
Lorinda, his wife, looking on, knows the score. Bob just needs to fill 2 solid frames, the 9th and 10th, to lock up his victory. Oh, my goodness.
Had one close earlier, Bo, and here.
Wow. We saw this happen last week, the ball sliding by the 10-pin. Once again, it happens this week. And what this sets up, as you look at Lorinda, Bob's wife, it sets up for Robert Lawrence an outside chance to win. Lawrence needs to throw some strikes.
Bob Benoit got angry at himself this week, and he has gotten angry again. But Lawrence is up there in control at the moment.
Well, he has to strike. Robert Lawrence has to strike on the first 2 balls in the 10th frame. That would give him a 213, forcing Benoit to get a mark and a good count. If Lawrence doesn't strike on this ball, the victory is Benoit's. Bob Benoit is back in the Tournament of Champions.
And Bob Benoit with his 4th title. So Bob has had a lot of 4th, 3rds, 2nds between his last victory in 91. Robert last won the United States Open in 92. Bowling a 191.
All right, to 245, just finishing out the game for Benoit. He'll be at 216 with the conversion. The victory, his 4th title, requalifies him for the General Tire Series Tournament of Champions, and he's a happy camper.
All right, Lorinda is out, and their daughter, a trio, happy as can be. 216 to 191.
When your dentist cleans your teeth, he uses special instruments that get between them. But what toothbrush would your dentist prefer to use? Well, in a recent nationwide test, dentists tried the leading flat brush and Crest Complete. The brush more dentists preferred was Crest Complete. Its one-of-a-kind rippled bristles get up to 37% farther between teeth than the leading flat brush. So, to help maintain a dentist clean at home, choose Crest Complete. It helps maintain a dentist clean.
The average sumo wrestler weighs 420 pounds. The average person puts 9,000 times that much weight on their feet every day. The average shoe just wasn't designed to take this kind of pressure, which is why Dr. Scholl's didn't create the average insoles. Using space-age materials, Dr. Scholl's has created its new line of insoles and inserts to give your shoes revolutionary support, cushioning, and shock absorption. Make life in your shoes more comfortable with Dr. Scholl's.
Where once there was one Ninja, now there are 3. The original Ninja, the first AMF ball to harness the power and hook of reactor-thane cover stock. The smooth arcing Ninja Master, a masterful balance of power and control. And the Ninja Fury, unrestrained in its extraordinary hook and incredible power. The new Ninja Fighting Force from AMF. The power to improve your individual style.
Bob Benoit. Bob Benoit, $20,000. Robert Lawrence, 10-5, and so on down the line. Along with Lorenda, Bob's wife. Big smile from you two. You want a kiss? They're sort of newlyweds. Nice going, champ.
Oh, thanks. This was really a rough winter for me all year, and then the summer started coming around, and you know, I finished second here a couple of years ago, and I bowled like an idiot, and I felt like I should have won it then. And this year when I was close, I told Phil and Roy that I kind of wanted another chance, maybe for revenge or anything, but you know, I didn't want to bowl stupid today. And then when I missed that 10-pin, I thought, well, here you go again. And luckily, it worked out for me.
I don't think he's stupid.
Oh, no, I don't either.
Okay. Benny Salsina's with the trophy here. That's a beauty, Benny. And Roy Lown, who won our very first PBA event on ABC in '62, PBA champion. You got a little cash there we better give to these.
Congratulations, Bob, on an outstanding job. On behalf of Bowl El Paso, congratulations, and a check for $20,000.
Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to thank Roy, Frank, Phil, Benny, all the scorekeepers here. It was absolutely great.
Thank you. Oh, we got another 30 seconds.
Oh, boy. Well, there is one scorekeeper here I have to say a special thanks to. Her name is Ann. She keeps score for me every year, and she's kind of my good luck charm. And another thing, this locked me into the General Tire Tournament of Champions, and I can't wait to get back.
Now, will you finish that Ford now?
Yes.
Okay. We got to go now. Thanks, Penny, Roy, Phil, Frank, Lorenda, and Bob. See you in 2 weeks from Wichita for Bo Burton, Walter Ray Williams Jr., Bob Vespi, I'm Chris Sanko. Goodbye.
ABC Sports presentation of the Pro Bowlers Tour has been brought to you by the new Crest Complete Toothbrush. Only Crest could make a brush this complete. And by Quality, Comfort, Clarion, and Sleep Hotels. Coming up next, ABC's Wide World of Sports features the Houdinis of the hard court. In a special encore performance, the Harlem Globetrotters perform their unique brand of magic in South Central L.A. Plus, it's the hottest craze on wheels, Squirt Summer Skate from Universal Studios, Florida. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around